What makes you different? That's the thing that makes you great. Help us out of our greatness. The thing that makes us different. The thing that sets us apart. Because we want people to believe in us. We want people to affirm us. But you find your affirmation in God. The thing that makes you great is the thing that sets you apart. The thing that makes you great is the thing that makes you different. So begins to change. As your territory enlarges, your circle begins to change. Understand your greatness, you can stand on it. When you understand the thing that makes you different, you can stand on it. When you know your voice, you can stand on it. No matter what you have to lose. Hey guys, how you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Right now I am live on both Instagram, well, three sources: Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. And I'm so glad to be here with you guys today to share some awesome things with you all on tonight. And so we're going to go ahead and get started and jump into this. I don't want to prolong the time, but I do want to make sure that you guys are empowered even in this time and in this season. So let's go ahead and do some housekeeping. So the next 3 weeks, I will be conducting a series on recovering, the ABCs of recovering from a fall. And so today makes the first week. Then we have 2 more weeks. And so tonight we're going to talk about the A part, which is the admit of recovering from a fall. And this particular session is for leaders and those that they follow. And so you may be asking yourself, well, how do I know if I'm a leader? Leadership in a nutshell is just influence. And if you seek to influence the development, thinking, or behavior of a person or of a group of people, guess what? You are a leader. So that lets me know that this is for you. So we're going to go ahead and jump into this. And I know some people probably were thinking, and when I say the fall, let me do this. Let me set up an introduction. When I say the fall, when I say recovering from a fall, it does not necessarily mean I'm not necessarily just coming from or talking about that you did something wrong or that leaders did something evil. It just simply means missing the mark or the goal or the target or the standard your organization has set, or the values in your family or wherever you lead. That's what I mean when I say recovering from a fall. Pretty much just missing the mark, just that standard. And so again, there are tons of definitions for leadership and leaders, and we're not going to get into all of that. But when, again, like I said, when you seek to influence the thinking, behavior, or development of person, that means that you are a leader. Okay, and so as a leader, whether you're a parent, teacher, pastor, or organizational leader, city councilwoman, city councilman, or anybody that makes decisions on the behalf of the people, you are influencing them. And so we all know nobody is perfect. Everybody falls short. But sometimes missing the mark is not so... sometimes missing the mark is not necessarily the fact that you just missed the mark, but when we fall short of the standard or the goal of the organization or the standard or values in our families or whatnot, what happens is sometimes we look at the fall, but what makes it hard sometimes for leaders to admit, hey, I was wrong, or I made a mistake, or I shouldn't have taken that turn, or I shouldn't have done that, is for the simple fact of that the fall exposes a weakness. And so that's why sometimes there are times that we are having trouble and we're having a hard time of admitting something, because now it has exposed a part of myself or of a leader that now shows my weaknesses or shows that I'm not, what people thought I was, or whatever the case may be. And so when we talk about missing the mark of falling, we are exposing a part of ourselves that we just didn't want people to see. All right. And so the thing about admitting your faults or your shortcomings, again, the thing about admitting your faults or your shortcomings is for the simple fact of that nobody wants to be wrong, or no one wants to admit, hey, I've done something wrong. So that's just the kind of the cycle that we live in. We all want to make sure that we're doing the things right and we're making the right decisions and making the right choices. But at the end of the day, we're all human, and we just do sometimes just fall short, and that's okay. And the admitting part is the fact of saying, hey, you know what? I made a mistake. How can I recover from this? Because it's showing your level of maturity as a leader, and it's also showing those that you lead, hey, they have a level of integrity, because they can admit, hey, I fell short. Because as a leader, you're leading people, you're influencing people, people are following you, and if you're not admitting mistakes or your shortcomings or where you fell short, then you're leading all these other people to a place that you have not admitted to. Okay, if that makes sense. So let's talk about this real quick. Whether you're a Christian or you're not a Christian, we all can relate to this. When we look at the scripture, Genesis, the Bible, Genesis chapter 3, Adam and Eve, they were the first humans created by God, right? Well, Adam was, and then Eve. Let me be biblically correct. And they ate from the tree of good and evil. And once they did that, once they ate from the tree of good and evil, guess what? They missed the mark. All right. So not only did they miss the mark, but once they missed the mark, they were exposed and they were embarrassed. And how do I know that? Because Genesis 3:10 says that Adam said he heard God in the garden, and he was afraid because he was naked. So guess what Adam did? He hid. So because of his guilt and of his mistake, he didn't admit to God. He hid from God. So instead of admitting, he hid. So a lot of us are kind of like Adam in this sense, that instead of admitting things to people or to those that we lead, what do? We sometimes tend to hide from it because of the guilt or the mistake, and sometimes protecting ourselves, right? Let me tell you how Adam protected himself. Genesis 3:12. He blamed Eve. He says, he blamed Eve. He said, this woman that you gave to me partook of the fruit. And so sometimes we blame others too, just to protect ourselves and to make sure that we don't look bad. And again, as a leader, you can't control people or what people do. All we can do is own and admit our part. I'm reminded of Steve Harvey. I don't know if you guys remember a few years ago, and what he did was he was the host of the Miss American pageant. I think it was, Miss American pageant, and he had announced the wrong winner. Now, this is a platform where there are tons of people expecting that you make no mistakes. And he admitted, he announced the wrong winner. And because he announced the wrong winner, one thing I like about Steve Harvey, what he did was he realized his mistake. Okay. Once he realized his mistake, he came back out and was like, hey, I made a mistake. I announced the wrong winner. And he had to correct his mistake. And when I saw that, it gave me so much respect for Steve Harvey and even for the platform, because how many people, just think about it, how many people would have done that? Because again, it wasn't necessarily the fall, him missing the standard, so to speak, but what it was the exposure. Now I'm exposed, and what has been exposed is, oh, my shortcoming or my weakness or whatever the case may be. And so now he fell short, but he was able to recover from the fall once he admitted and he apologized. Okay. And so now that I've confessed these wrongdoings, now that I've confessed my shortcomings, as a result, what can happen is it can bring forgiveness and compassion and restore fellowship and relationship among those that you lead. So for example, let's talk about let's say a husband and a wife, and a husband and a wife, they didn't agree on something, and one of them fell short, and what happened is once one of them fell short, then somebody has to admit, hey, look, you know what, I was wrong, let me apologize. Because once you do that, it helps to restore relationship, because now I have confidence and trust in that leader to know that when they do something wrong, they have enough integrity to say, hey, look, I fell short. Let me admit my part. and it restores relationships. It reminds me of a lot of people know about David in the Bible, and it was Psalms chapter 32 when after David had committed adultery and murder, and he never admitted his or confessed to God his sins in this sense. And he was harboring that was on him, that was weighing on him, that was on his conscience, that was on his mind. And the Bible says that he became like emotionally and like spiritually emotionally, physically like sick, because he was holding on to that. But once he released it, his relationship with God was restored. And so a lot of times when we don't admit something as leaders, we hold on to that, and it begins to become us. It begins to not only become us, but it begins to transform the way we think, and all these different things. And so the point of the matter is to make sure that we are admitting when we do wrong. All right. Let me do this. Some of you guys may be saying, hey, look, you know what? I don't know how to admit when I'm wrong or when I fall short. So let me help you out with some things here real quickly. I want to help you out with some things, because you gain respect when you do what's right. So many people are doing what's wrong. When you do what's right, you gain respect, and not only respect from of yourself, but respect from people. I'm reminded of parents. Sometimes, parents will say, oh, they'll tell their children, it's because I'm grown, or I can do it because I'm grown. And sometimes parents don't apologize to their kids because, you are in a position of authority. I can do what I want to do. I'm grown. So what we're doing, parents are leaders, kids are the followers. So what we're doing is setting up our kids to start believing and to start thinking that, because when you are in a position, when you have authority, then you don't have to admit you're wrong. You don't have to apologize. And that's what the mindset, because again, leadership is seeking to influence the development, the mindset, and the behavior of somebody. And so we are influencing and shaping them to think that when people are in authority, it's okay. So now when the police comes to them and the police do something wrong to them, it's okay because they're in authority. Or when a teacher or somebody mistreats your child, it's okay because they are in authority. And then us as parents, we tend to, we get upset. Why you didn't say anything? Well, because when you're in authority and you don't admit, you don't admit what you do wrong. So I'm thinking because people are in authority, they don't have to admit when they're wrong. And what I have to say about it doesn't matter. That's a prime example, but it doesn't have to just be parent and a child relationship. It could be husband and wife, or I don't know, boss and worker. It could be all these different other scenarios, but I was using that for example. So let's do this real quick. And let me say this for the followers, those that follow leaders. Once a leader admits their part, once they admit, hey, look, I made a mistake, I made the wrong turn, I shouldn't have done that, and they're making steps to try to correct that, you as the follower, you can help restore them by not holding them hostage to what they have already admitted. And that's why a lot of times people don't want to admit, because sometimes we hold people hostage to that. And so don't hold them hostage, followers. Don't hold your leaders hostage to what they said, to what they've already admitted, if they're making steps to changing that. What you can do now is keep them and hold them accountable for what they say that they are going to now do. All right? Let me do this. So how can I admit my part? Number one, know that it doesn't define you. You may ask a question. How do I know it doesn't define me? This is a question you can ask yourself. Am I a mistake? Am I my mistake? Am I my mistake? Know that your mistake doesn't define you. Number two, look at it as an opportunity to grow. You can ask yourself this question. What area did my mistake expose? What area did my mistake expose? Because now I'm able to grow from it. Next one. Don't hold yourself hostage. Okay? A question you can ask: what is restricting me from being free from this mistake? What is restricting me from being free from this mistake? Last one: form action steps and be committed to the change. Ask yourself this question: on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed am I to this change? And I believe these things will help you. Again, admitting your shortcomings or your fall has nothing to do with what you did wrong. What I'm talking about here is just a standard and you fell short of the standard. How can I recover from a fall? The first thing you do is admit your part. Next week, we'll talk about the second part of ABCs of recovering from a fall. In that second part, we're going to talk about believe in yourself. And then we'll come back on the third part and we're going to talk about how to reestablish your credibility after a fall. I hope this has encouraged you guys. Please share this. Please let somebody know. For the next 2 weeks, we'll be here again, 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I hope this has been empowering. If you like what you've heard, if it has helped you, if it has made you grow, please share the video. Please let us know. info@ShanitaBrown.com. You guys can email us, info@ShanitaBrown.com. All right? And you may be saying, hey, look, you were speaking to me today, and I need just a little help. I offer leadership coaching services, leadership development through coaching, because coaching is simply an invitation where we partner with someone to help them bring awareness to their self in their blind spot so that they can grow personally, professionally, however they want to grow. And SBE, which is Shanita Brown Empowers Leadership Development Company, we partner with clients to develop the person first and then the leader. I believe in developing the person, then the leader. If that's you, let us know. You get a free 30-minute consultation. I hope this has been a great help to you guys. I hope it's brought great insight to you all. I will see you guys next week, same time, same place. Be here on my Facebook Live, YouTube Live at Shanita Brown Empowers, or even Instagram Live. Hey, Instagram, I see y'all at I am Shanita B. Talk to you guys soon.